Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Tylearn, and today I'm going to be doing my first MCU What If. I wanted to do these actually ever since Endgame dropped, but I've just really been contemplating, and since I'm moving my channel in a different direction, I figured why not add MCU now? Now's a good time. And today's video is going to be what if Thor stayed in shape. Now, the reason I've decided to do an MCU What If all of a sudden is because I've actually been contemplating on making MCU content, but I just really didn't know at a time. I probably should have done it earlier since it was way more popular then, but since WandaVision is coming and the MCU recently has kind of just spiked up in popularity, I figured why not do some what ifs since I do what ifs, along with some analysis and even some power scaling content. With that being said, if you guys want more MCU content, let me know down below. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we are now going to be getting into the what if. Hope you guys do enjoy and take care. Okay, so we start our story off with Thor in the beginning of Endgame still killing Thanos, and we would move into 5 years later. Now, I actually want to talk about the 5-year gap since Thor is going to be doing stuff in between, since this what if is based upon Thor not looking like this. I think the first thing we need to change is Thor's whole mindset and really what arc he's going to be going on in this timeline. Now, I think after killing Thanos, he realized that he did mess up for not aiming for the head, and he wonders if maybe another big threat could ever come. You know, it's always happened with the Avengers at least. Every time one threat comes in, and then years later, another bigger threat comes in. And what if there's going to be an even bigger threat than Thanos? He needs to prepare. Thor is mentally weak, but it doesn't cause him to go spiral down and become fat and lazy and all this stuff. Rather, it's going to drive him instead and actually keeping up in strength and being the sole protector of basically the world. Like, sure, the Avengers can help out, but at this point, Thor is the strongest fighter that the Avengers really have. So he's going to just keep up in shape, which he believes would make for a better society amongst their new world. Thor would still have that bootleg Asgard village, or whatever you want to call it, but instead of him just being fat and playing Fortnite, he would be out and about training. I think when Hulk interacts with Thor, Thor at first is not going to be happy, and if anything, it's going to be the exact opposite. He'll probably just say for Hulk to go away, but luckily when Bruce manages to kind of push him around, he finally breaks down. Thor in this timeline breaks down because he's scared. He's scared that he's not going to be good enough. That's why he's been constantly training and just isolated himself from everyone else. He wants to be there for everyone. He wants to be the strong defender that Earth and really just the entire universe needs, but he doesn't believe he's good enough. At least he's scared about not being good enough. And at that point, Hulk snaps him out of it, and Thor would go along with Hulk. However, he's not going to be that happy, jolly person that he once was in Endgame. He's not going to be like his Endgame self where he's mostly happy and kind of jokey and really different from his other counterparts. Rather, he's going to be similar to his past counterparts, specifically his Infinity War self. And before we get into the whole time traveling scene, we get Thor just slowly growing upon his old group that he hasn't seen in the past 5 years, and he honestly regrets isolating himself. But his friends are here now and he's glad to see them, and now they're going to go out on a mission just like old times one last time. And with that being said, this would lead into the whole time traveling thing, which I think Thor, his entire arc is not going to be changed that much. Now, here's why I say that. Thor is still mentally weak, however, he's not fat. He is in shape, but he's still mentally weak. So I think he still needs this conversation with his mother. So I think him getting Mjolnir would basically get rid of his weak mentality. And at that point, this is now Thor in his peak and at his hypothetical prime state. Thor's been keeping up with his training for all the 5 years, not to mention now he has not only Stormbreaker, he has Mjolnir. So now it's now going to be Prime Thor instead of Endgame Thor when they fight Thanos. I think after Thanos invades Earth, we would still get everyone setting up the final battle, and Thor getting Mjolnir and Stormbreaker preparing for battle alongside with Iron Man and Captain America. Thanos, hearing how he failed, decides to just screw it and destroy everything instead of only half and bringing balance. Now he's just going to recreate a whole new universe with no superhero being left to tell the tale. And Thor, hearing this, believes that now this moment has been led up ever since that moment he killed Thanos. He's been training for these past 5 years to make sure the Avengers are safe, and now it's the time to finally do this. Thor says to Thanos how he won't make the same mistake again, and he would immediately charge in at Thanos, throwing his Stormbreaker. Thanos, being more bloodlusted and having his Uru blade, would spin the blade and actually deflect the Stormbreaker away. However, he did this just barely, and as he was doing this, Thor was catching up with Thanos, to then clump Thanos in the back of the head with Mjolnir while also bringing Stormbreaker back to him, and now comboing Thanos with Mjolnir and Stormbreaker, pressing Thanos. Luckily, Thanos gets out of this by spinning his Uru Blade and throwing it at Thor. However, Thor would manage to recover and wouldn't be necessarily too damaged from the blade. That's because at the moment the blade was going to come into contact with Thor, he manages to block it with Stormbreaker and Mjolnir and take less damage. Thanos would be trying to get his blade, but while that's happening, Iron Man and Captain America are kind of tag teaming, comboing him. However, Thanos is just going to easily break Iron Man and Captain America, especially when Captain America doesn't even have Mjolnir at this point. So Cap is going to get a kick off on Thanos, but he is going to fall pretty fast, while Iron Man would be thrown around and would basically be knocked out from the fight, similar to how he was in canon, but instead of Thor hitting him, it's just Thanos slapping him around. He would grab his blade and, seeing Iron Man being the closest to him, would prepare to stab Iron Man. However, at that point, Thanos would be intercepted by Thor, who would then slice his arm off with Stormbreaker. Thor would then throw Mjolnir, sending Thanos flying, and Thanos would then fall to the ground. He draws Mjolnir back to him, and Cap at that point would be at Thor's side, indicating that he's got his back. At that point, Thor then gets Mjolnir back, and he would then start to spin Mjolnir while also charging in with Stormbreaker, and he would throw Mjolnir at Thanos, but at that point, Thanos would deflect it back at Cap, who would seemingly get hit by Mjolnir, but it would then be revealed that he actually was holding Mjolnir and caught the attack, so he isn't completely knocked out and didn't take the full blow. With that being said, it's then revealed that he can wield Mjolnir, and now him and Thor are now 2v1ing Thanos. Now, due to Thor being stronger and now Cap being powered up, I definitely think these two could get the jump on Thanos, especially when Cap actually managed to against Thanos. Now he has the added help of a way stronger Thor, which means Thanos is going to die before he could even try and obtain the Infinity Gauntlet, before even the Black Order show up. So with this, I think Cap would get the jump on Thanos, but now with Thor, they would slowly wear Thanos down, and it would even get to the point to where Iron Man recovers, and now it's back to a 3v1. And at that point, Thor would then chop off his other arm. Now Thanos is disarmed.
Literally.
Nah, but Thanos is killed before the Black Order even arrives, and when they arrive, the Avengers realize that they have a lot to handle, but then it's revealed that the other Avengers are alive, and Cap would then go on to say Avengers assemble, with the other Avengers backing him up. Thanos, aka the biggest threat on the field, is not even present, so the Avengers, and especially when Captain Marvel show up, are going to easily defeat Thanos' forces, and this means Iron Man isn't required to snap or use the Infinity Stones to sacrifice himself, which means they would just probably either give the Infinity Gauntlet with the stones to Doctor Strange where he can hide it, or just find some place to put it. Surely Thor or Captain Marvel can find a place to. Even though Iron Man's alive, I think Cap would still retire and give his role to Falcon, and Endgame would then conclude. As for Far From Home, I'm pretty sure Iron Man would just make the events easier, would help Spider-Man take on Mysterio. I'm sure something like that would happen, and Spider-Man wouldn't be getting PTSD or being scared because Iron Man never dies. Now, with that being said, this is where we are going to be leaving our MCU What If off, and if you guys did enjoy this video and you want more MCU What Ifs in the future, or just MCU related content, let me know down below. Along with considering subscribing and hitting the bell icon, that way you are notified and updated every time I upload, and the majority of my viewers aren't subscribed, so be sure to subscribe, and be sure to follow me on Twitter, links down below. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out, bye.